Okay, all right. Welcome everyone, and it's delightful to still have you with us, and for you've made it to the end. I know it's been an intensive week. It's been intensive for all of us, for the hosts and for you, I know. But we made it. My mouse is not working. So we made it. We're now, that date is incorrect. I apologize. It should be the 25th. We're now in our wrap up. We're finalizing our training week. So before we go any further, I'd like to show you a little bit, just a quick video I made based on our Padlet. Please let me know if you can't hear it. Okay. So,
gorgeous, Melinda. Thank you.
It was fun doing it. So that was just a quick recap of where we're from. I know that there were people from other parts that they didn't put things in the Padlet, but it was just from just the beginning. It's been an enormously plurilingual global group and very exciting. So as part of, sorry about that. So what we've, just a quick recap, what we've done thus far is 4 keynote talks, including the round note there, but with 3 keynotes in the roundtable. We've created 3 templates for the local app games that Cardolin just mentioned that she really had fun doing. And from what I could tell by the focus, that there were multilingual universities, multilingual multicultural food tour, and a city tour. I may be wrong because I was just looking at the template. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. We've had Q&A with the speakers and some absolutely fascinating questions coming up. Some of the speakers have committed to going back and discussing them a little bit more in the Padlets later on, even if it's not finishing this week. We had readings, we had the guidebook and as the focus, and then lots of optional text that I sincerely hope people have taken advantage of. And then, of course, the chance of just demonstrated meeting and working with new people from around the world. So what we'll do today, and going along with the motif of yesterday's discussion, I found this semiotic sign. We'll briefly explain our templates and give feedback on the plans. As I said, I had expected more participants. I'm hoping that there's a representative from each group, but if not, then we'll see what we do. We're going to record a podcast session. We'll walk you through that and then give our final farewells. Okay, so this is what we have planned for today. For this discussion, I need 1 volunteer per group, and what you'll do is briefly explain the outline of the game that you've planned and the key points of interest. I have links to the templates that I'll open up for you, and then you can ask everybody in the group, ask if you want any feedback, if there's any questions or any specific points, you say, hey, can you help us out with this? So this is the idea, because we haven't been able to, as you can see, we're all with various things in our own lives. I had to attend a funeral yesterday. Sylvia's son has COVID. Maria's family is in a war zone. It's just been kind of a tremendously chaotic week. So we haven't had time to put these into the app. Plus we haven't really had feedback yet. So we're planning on transferring these to the app later. We're not going to have it done by today. So that's the reason that these are not done. Although initially when we were planning the training week, we had thought we would have them done by then, but circumstances have been that we weren't able to do that. But we can't get feedback on the template. So do I have any volunteers from group 1? Anyone from group 1? I know Sarah's in group 1, right?
Yes, I'm in group 1 actually, yeah.
Would you like me to open up the template?
Yes, of course, yeah.
You may not be able to see it. I may have to stop share and then go back. Can you see it?
No, I think you have to stop sharing and then share again.
Yeah. Yes, now?
Yeah, so here in brief, we have which
You tell us, sorry to interrupt. Just tell me when you want me to scroll down.
Ah, yes, of course, yeah. So before Saturn, we have actually wrote a story about the game, and it is actually a world trip. We have chosen actually to make or to analyze the university's landscape. And we started from the city of Volos, the University of Thessaly. Then we were going to Barcelona. Yes, we scroll down. We find some pictures from Barcelona. Then we went to my university, University of Limerick in Ireland. And then we ended up in Philippines, the University of Philippines. And each picture actually is taken in our respective universities. And we try to ask some questions in relation to the linguistics or the languages used in each sign or each in each image. And yes, so in general, this is it. I think if I can summarize what we have done, so that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's an excellent idea. It's very exciting, especially for university students to work on. Is there any area that with your group you felt like you could use some feedback on, or?
Yes, actually for the part of the University of Philippines, I think we are two only researchers who try to manage the questions, but you should scroll up if you can. Yeah, just up. Yes, here it is, where there is the part of sorority. Just scroll down a little bit. Yes, here for the questions, actually, as you can see in the image, a project of the sorority chapter, adopt a lecture hall. It seems like everything is in English, but when analyzing it, the word sorority actually is used in different languages. It is the same word, but in different languages. So it would be great if I can have feedback regarding that, just to have the point of view. And the question I think I have used is, yeah, the word sorority is spelled in the same way in different languages. And the question is, in which other languages do you think the word is spelled similarly? Just to have it would be great to have a feedback about that, about these kind of questions.
Yeah, I think as a principally English speaker, it's confusing for me, because I would have probably the same question on that one. Sylvia.
Yes, this is, sorry, I'm just not putting my video because it's not beautiful to see. So let's go back to the old Sylvia. I would say this is the kind of question that shows us how difficult it usually is to establish a frontier between languages and really say to which language does one word belong to. So I don't know. If you would ask me to identify which languages are in the image, I would say English only, because it's the kind of questions if you don't give us any information before, we cannot guess that other languages are present. So you are not really engaging in intelligent guessing. So the picture doesn't give us enough elements to guess which other languages it could be. So it's kind of difficult to say if it is the best kind of visual input for the platform, because if you see it like this, I would say, well, English.
I agree, Sylvia, but I think that the point you just brought up is interesting, and perhaps it could be worked into the question itself.
Yes.
Maybe yes. Something like that. You may think this is all English, but there's at least one word that is used in another language or something like that. Or maybe change it to which word, which do you think is the word? And then have the discussion, what Sylvia just said about when you answer, say, yes, this is absolutely correct. Because note that drawing the line between languages is so difficult sometimes. So maybe use that to bring in that discussion. I think that could be useful.
As a feedback, for example.
Or even as the question itself, you could say, you may think this is only in English, but there's one word that is also used in another language. Which word do you think it is? And then instead of having to guess the language, they're having to guess the word. And then the answer is sorority is used in Filipino, and put in there, and this exemplifies how difficult it is to find the lines between languages.
We have, Melinda, we also have a comment by Wilfred in the chat, and it says Filipino words borrows words from various languages, so it's kind of hard to delineate named languages here. And he also asks, is there a reason why there is a censor? So why this black stripe is in the sign? Do you know, Sarah?
Sorry, I actually don't know. When the researcher just shared the picture, he didn't mention anything about that, but I think there is the name or something like that in the picture, so they don't want us to see the name. It's like it's private, so maybe they erased it.
To anonymize.
Yeah.
I would, knowing who led your group, I would say that she put a lot of emphasis on if you don't have permission to use this image, that you have to make sure that you're not giving out information you don't have permission to use. So I'd say that that's part of the reason. Couldn't get permission to use it directly. So thank you, Sarah. Is there anything else you'd like?
Thank you. I don't think so. If you can give us like your feedback, it would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Like in a general way about the session we did.
Anyone else in the group, apart from your group, anyone else from the other groups want to mention anything or say anything, give any observation, contribute anything? Okay, thank you, Sarah. Do we have anybody here from group 2? I'm gonna stop sharing a minute.
We have Andres and we have Angela.
Okay, which of you would like to take on the role of giving us feedback on that? I need to just pull that up.
Andres, you can go ahead.
No, dale, yo hago barra.
Well, I'm going, probably we can speak both, Melinda, because
okay. Let me just pull this up very quickly. Sorry, because it won't, you have to switch screens. Yes, here we go.
Yeah, well, actually we have a very interesting group. We have people from different countries, and we were trying to find with Sylvia, she was leader in the group very well. So We were looking for the language that we all speak, and we find out that mostly of us, we speak English and French, and many people understand Spanish. The group, I think we have people from Greece. I don't remember if you can help me, Andres or Silvia. It was Greece, people from California, from the US, Mexico, and Colombia. I'm Colombian, but I live in Brazil. And I forgot something else, France, probably.
Yes. It was the colleague working in France right now, but coming from the United States.
The United States. And someone from Pakistan, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he
yes.
connected one day, yeah.
Yeah, so we were trying to focus on what we can have in our group, and we focus on the French spot that is to look about French words in our linguistic landscape. So we took some pictures and we were working about food. We were presenting the place where we introducing where we are now, for example, there in Colombia, and we were taking pictures about food and something related with French. So this is, for example, a picture of Bogota, where Andres probably can explain better. It's a restaurant, and later on we were focused on foodscapes, actually. Thank you, Silvia. So I'm gonna pass the word to Andres to explain what they do the second day, because even I couldn't work. I work on distance. I work with the homework that they gave me because I was working at the same time.
All right, thank you, Angela. Good morning. Well, morning in Bogota, in Colombia. Good afternoon, maybe everyone. So yeah, we continued working on the same idea of foodscape. So we were exploring a little bit around to spot French, basically. The language we used earlier, for asking and so on is English, but we also tried to include French words in the questions themselves. And also there is, I think, some French and some Portuguese and German, I think, as well in the feedback. So, well, questions related to words, maybe semantic aspects of the words, particular uses, and I think that you can scroll down, please, a little bit more, Melinda. And well, we also had there like some elements linked to, for instance, the cécidilia, like the Frances word there, and some elements linked to providing the players the possibility to think about how words are built, okay, like using suffixes and giving them hints to try to identify some patterns that the languages have. So this is so far about like Colombia. And then this is the example of Germany, I think. Yeah, in Germany, yep. So, well, it was led by Silvia. I don't know, Silvia, if you would like to add here, or Angela, or
Okay.
continue.
Let us say it was really frantic going around our kitchens and photographing the foodscapes in which French was present. So we really focused on spot French in your kitchen or in your neighborhood in the foodscapes. Then, for example, as the colleagues that spoke before told already, we focus really on analyzing some aspects of the French language, and also analyzing not just words, but the full image. So for example, here, you don't just identify the languages in the landscape, or you don't say how many languages are present, even if these are the first questions to start with. But we also ask, how do you say prepare in French and Spanish, and why are the words so close to each other? So we focus, because I have to say we had a lot of interest around intercomprehension between languages of the same linguistic family. It was kind of our expertise in the group. So we focused on giving also feedback about the languages of the same linguistic family, and explaining that even if the words are similar, we might have some differences on pragmatics. And these are already the examples from Greece. So also explaining that we can find French food in Greece, and then we would find the words for chestnuts in other languages with the above package. So you can see we try to be coherent on two aspects: spotting French and foodscape as the context. So that's it. I don't know if you want to say anything more, my colleagues in the group.
I think that's it. I don't know if there is a question or something that we can probably talk, or just see the other ones. But I think we have almost explained everything.
I really,
We summarized it all.
can I just say, I wanted to say, I really like how with your feedback, you were also very plurilingual. As I was scrolling through, I'm seeing bravo, bingo, très bien. I really like that you've brought in all this plurilingual, the multilingual aspect, even in the feedback. So kudos on that one. Congratulations. Sorry to interrupt. You were about to say something, Andres.
No, I think that was it. So thank you for listening. If you have any ideas, recommendations, I'll be more than grateful to listen to you.
Does anyone have any comments? You don't have a specific question for us, then? I mean, it seems to all have come together very, very well, and I really like that, and I like the idea of foodscapes. Yeah.
We just need to upload the game now in the platform. So kind of Kleinigkeiten.
Thank you. So I'm going to stop sharing with this on this one. Do we have someone? We have someone from group 3, I believe. Let me just pull this while you're deciding who's going to do which. Let's see. 1 minute. Sorry.
So I suppose that Wilfred and also I are from the third group. So if Gab is volunteer, he can just go for it, or I can be. It's all up to you. It's about your choice.
Just 1 minute. I have so many screens open. I apologize. Sometimes I get a little bit confused because all the screens that I have open. I'm trying to share this. 1 minute. Okay. All right. Should have template 3. Okay. So who's going to take care here? Who's going to present?
You choose.
It's not up to me. You guys choose. Go ahead.
Okay.
You've got your mic open, so go ahead.
Okay, then Wilfred, should I or will you? Gab? Gab, can you hear me?
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
I'm actually outside, so if you it might be noisy. I think it might be better if you go ahead. I will just
Okay.
help you in answering questions later on.
Okay, thank you so much. Then I can just start. We can basically just go down, Dooly. I'm not so sure about the pronunciation of your surname, so if it's wrong, I'm so sorry for this. Sincere apologies. Okay, let's see the first one. So we were really in a very, very international group because with Fred, Gab was from Philippines, and also we had someone from Strasbourg, and also we just used some photographs from Hamburg, and also I was from Turkey, Diyarbakir. So we literally just in a very international groups, and also we had I'm not so sure about Polish. Someone was Polish. I'm not so sure about it. So we were in a very, very international group. That's why we just wanted to
Polish
integrate.
living in Catalonia.
Yeah, exactly. So we just wanted to integrate many landmarks and also other kinds of other kinds of signs we've seen in these seas. So we thought that at the first place we can just have a theme, but then we thought that if we can just do it in a more various way, then it can be more interesting. That's why we just use some signs, and we were really careful about just let's say integrating some words from other, let's say from our mother tongues. For example, in this you can see Ulujami from Diyarbakir, Turkey, where I live and which is my hometown, and we just try to integrate some vocabulary in the feedback part, and also we just want to use the introduction part at the first place so that the students or the learners or the users of the app can be quite aware of the fact that we've been just integrating some photographs from these landmarks, cities or countries, so they will have a background knowledge about these. And of course the questions are for also just in, let's say, contributing to their let's say knowledges about the other cultures. So while we are just integrating photographs from Philippines, from Strasbourg, from Turkey, from Hamburg, we were really careful about that. And let's say we can go down, so I can just talk about the other ones as well. So this is again from Turkey about the tourist attraction places. So we just integrated more, and then we can see the other photographs. Yeah, that was from Germany. Exactly, Mariposa Nabi Primary Center. So we just integrated the other kinds of languages we have in this group, because in this photograph we have Korean, so it's not from our culture, but it's from the other cultures as well, to raise awareness towards it while we are learning the language, the foreign language itself. So let's see the other ones. Again, we have Sushin Loa. I'm not so sure about the pronunciation. So again, basically this sign here, the S1, it just kept me on the screen because it was really interesting to see a kind of sign here. So we wanted to make it, let's say, pictorial, and we wanted our students to be attracted by the pictures or photographs we've integrated here. Exactly, Mariposa and Navi means butterfly. They are same, but in, let's say, in different languages, I suppose. So let's see the other ones, if we can. Live life in bikini. This is also colorful. So we just, as I said, we want to make it attractive again, and to bring the summer vibes to the winterlands we have on Earth. Yeah. This is also an interesting one because, as you know, especially in Turkey, people are quite, let's say, attracted by Asian cultures. So these kinds of structures, these kinds of states or these signs are really attracting us. So we suppose that the other people or the users of the app will also be attracted by these kinds of landmarks we have all around the world. They are really interesting, and they are colorful and they're attractive. We love it. So we can go and see the other ones, I suppose. Yeah, exactly. And this was our aim. We were traveling around the world. So we said that just traveling around the cities, the multilingual cities and multilingualism, this was basically our aim. So again, we have this Abnabas Caniceria. And again, I suppose that the person here just attracted the attention to halal, I suppose. Yeah, because we have two languages there, and they are from the different alphabets, so the students can also see the other alphabets we have in other languages as well. Yeah, exactly. That was what I thought. Yeah, this was also the most interesting one to me, because Lou's China Grill Imbiss. Imbiss meant to be, let's say, the fast food in German. And this was really interesting for me because I had no idea about that. Maybe the other friends of mine from my group knew about that, but it was let's say, the first interesting German vocabulary I have learned. Imbiss means fast food. And then we have Lou, and I suppose that Lou is a Chinese word. And also it's written, it was not written in Chinese alphabet. So this can be interesting for the learners. And then we have Coca-Cola here. And then we have croak, and I'm not so sure about the pronunciation of this vocabulary, but I think it's French. So the students will see, the students will see many, many, many languages here and signs there. So they will be interested in it. Ooh, that can be, they just said that Liu can be a Chinese word in our group. And I thought that, oh my God, they did not write it in a Chinese alphabet. So it was really interesting. So if we do not have any other photographs here, you can just ask, answer your questions, or I will be delighted to see your comments. I cannot hear you.
Sorry, I had my mic on. Do you have any questions or any in particular area that you'd like some feedback on, or anything in particular?
I have a question, but okay. I think we will see it on the game. I think the pictures were great and very interesting landscape. But sometimes some of the pictures we don't know in which country they have been taken or which place. For example, I saw many of them. I guess in the game sometimes you place in the map where the picture has been taken. But now in the presentation, I was curious to see, like, for example, some of them, if they were taken, well, as you see, you present the one if the mosque was in your city. But for example, this loo that we saw at the end, where is that? The other one of the beach, for example, they have like coconuts and like a hammock and stuff like that. I didn't know where it has been taken. I was just curious to see the places, but I guess like as I know the app, the game, I guess that we are going to be able to see the place too.
Thank you for your nice comments. Oh yeah, Gap, just go first.
Can I answer the question?
Of course you can.
I think the other day we actually already uploaded the game on the app. So yeah, that's one thing. I think based on my memory, I think, let me see. We had some of these pictures were from Strasbourg. The one with Mariposa Nabi. I think that if I remember correctly, that was taken in the United States in Koreatown. And then you have that one. Let me just take a look at my copy. I don't remember where this Tushid Loa comes from. Oh, this is from the same place as before. It's in, I think, Los Angeles. That's the same place where Koreatown is. And then we also had one picture from Singapore in Little India. And another, I think the last one that we had was the Carniceria from Barcelona. Yeah, and then the last picture was actually a photo of from the Philippines that I took at the airport. The one that asks you saan ka patungo, or where are you going in Tagalog. So yeah, that's it.
Can I ask if there was an underlying theme? Did you have, or was it let's just take a tour? So did you have the other ones were foodscapes and universityscapes, if you like. Did you have something in mind when you were doing it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it was more of a tour that we had in mind, because the one thing that we all had in common was that we all came from different places. So it was an opportunity for us to learn from those different places as well.
Good, very, very interesting. I would point out, just out of curiosity, the sign in Barcelona, it might be of interest to students to discover that there's no Spanish on that sign. And I think that people from outside of, who are not familiar with Barcelona might expect there to be Spanish on the sign when there is none at all. So that might be something you could add to the
Really?
question. Yeah, you could
Really?
add that to the question. There's no Spanish in that sign, only Catalan and Arabic.
Okay. Learned something new today.
So it could be a curiosity that could be added to the actual game. New topic of conversation in any case. Anyone else from the other groups? Would you like to contribute or add any mention or any observation, any comment about this group 3 or any of these landscape, the linguistic landscape games? Anything? Sylvia, do you want to add something?
I can comment on something. We realized how difficult it is to make questions, to ask questions about these pictures, and how difficult it is to evaluate if the questions will be too difficult, if we are engaging in intelligent guessing activities, if we are asking questions that are too easy, too difficult, what kind of contextual information we should provide. So we saw that beyond this apparent, or even if it looks easy to do, it's much more difficult than we thought previously. So even asking one question, thinking about the feedback, it's not just about saying, yeah, correct or incorrect. So if you want to improve the language awareness, for example, you have to come up also with clever feedback. And wow, that was really difficult. I don't know, Angela, if you would back this, or Andres, but I really felt it to be much more difficult than I thought previously.
I spent, you don't know, imagine how much time I spent in one question or analyzing one aspect, because sometimes you make a question. I have the same feeling, Sylvia. I opened the microphone like that because I think this is right. I spent a lot of time thinking about the questions, and I realized that I'm very bad at doing this.
And another issue, I don't know, Angela, but for me, it was like, okay, we don't want to ask every time, so how many languages or which languages. These are important questions, but if you want to go beyond these two sort of questions, oh my God, that was really difficult. It is also tricky.
And also something that I don't know, probably I'm wrong, and I hope if I am, I would like to discuss about it. But I think we have sometimes like a monolingual view of things. So we decided, for example, to work from English. We were making the questions in English, and we were thinking like how to bring these French, how do you say, these French words for, I don't know why, we were thinking about an English speaker. And then I realized that this is so hard because, for example, many words in Romance languages are very similar. The thing is like, for example, I was trying to make a question about how to say bon appétit, which is like enjoy your meal. And in French, it is bon with N. And in Portuguese is bom with M, you know, it only changed something really, really small. Bon appetit has a E. And I couldn't make a question about it, you know, because we were focusing start from English, going to French, but at the end it's so impossible that our questions has other languages. And this is amazing how we kind of escape from multilingualism. And we are all like surrounded by these languages, and it is hard to put only one or two languages in these questions. But if you have
sorry, I was just going to say you could add these comments to the game itself. because there are ways to add observations as the students are going through. So that might be an interesting way to bring up this idea that you just said. And I love the way you expressed it. We can't escape from multilingualism. Yes. We have some interesting comments in the chat based on this and on the what Sylvia said. And there's a lot of mention of the complexity of writing questions. Sylvia, you're absolutely right. Wilfred said, Gab, sorry, not Wilfred, Gab said, he asked his cousin, a high schooler, to do the Hamburg game. I think piloting is a good way to check. Yeah, she didn't get all the questions right, but she learned a lot through the feedback integrated into the game. So yeah, I think the feedback can be really kind of the incidental learning in a way. You know, it's not so much about getting the answers right. Of course, if they're young kids, they might get frustrated if they're getting all the wrong answers. But maybe with the older ones, you can push them to think. So thank you, Sylvia. Excellent points. Excellent comments and observations as usual. Does anyone else want to contribute? Any final thoughts on what we've done working with the games for the apps? Yes, Cardinal.
Firstly, thank you so much for just integrating us to this great project. It was really good. And although I was really busy that week, I was just trying to catch up with the conferences we had. So it was really good to be a part of this project. So I hope that you can just continue it. And I will definitely be the other parts of that if you have another, let's say, conference series with the same team, because you're moderators, your, let's say, teachers, and also the groups we were in, the, let's say, the clocks were also just assigned to our programs. They were just suitable. So thank you for everything. It was really good to be a part of this. And I just hope that we can just meet another project. It was really good. Thank you so much.
There will be more training. There's another training week coming up. So Sylvia can
Really?
give you more information on that one.
Ooh, that's great. That's
She
great.
just
Thank
said,
you.
keep tuned. So there will be other possibilities. But thank you for those
Okay.
kind words. Yes. Should we move on to the next activity then? Because I know that you, as you've said,
Yes, please.
you're all extremely busy, and we don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to now open up my PowerPoint in just 1 minute. Hold on. Okay. Like I said, I've got so many things going on right here on the screen. Can you see? Let's start presenting. You can see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good so far. I put this slide in to remind myself I need to ask every now and then. I think get some feedback from you. Everybody's good. We just had this round on the apps. So what we're going to do next is to create a podcast, and it's going to involve some role play. And I'm going to explain a little bit of detail here, just so that it's clear, because then you're going to have to go out on your own in some breakout rooms. But we're going to imagine we're in a recording studio, and we will have a panel discussion and ideas about linguistic landscapes. And I've got a very short example here. I'm not saying this is a particularly good example or a particularly bad example. It's just one I found. Okay, so just in case somebody's not familiar with podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the Instant English podcast, the show in which I talk to the most interesting and influential people in the field of ELT. I'm your host, Joanna Weissman, and joining me on the panel this month are Richard Cliff. Hello. And Sam Wordsworth. Hello. How's everyone doing today? Very good. The sun is shining. There is loads of energy coming from it. The last sunshine of the year, probably. Is that it? This is our summer, is it? A little bit of it, but still better than nothing. Yes, it's a little scarce, but I think the leaves are turning. Then we look forward to just hunking down into the autumn. Oh, on this happy note, let's get on with the show. Rita, what are we talking about this month?
Okay. Very short example. I'm not, as I said, I'm not saying it's a good example or bad example, but it was one that I found that there was, shut up. Okay. Sorry. It was one that I found that had the intro into it, a little bit of warm up talk, although I think they took that too far and too long, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. And then they got, okay, let's settle down. Let's get, what's our topic of today? So I just use it just as an example of what you might possibly do to help you get into the idea of doing this sort of role play and what is a podcast, okay? Again, I'm not saying it's a good example. I'm not saying it's a bad example. I'm just saying it's an example. So what we will do is divide you into breakout rooms. And once in the breakout room, you should choose a person to lead the discussion because you heard that there was a panel leader. Okay, so you decide how you want that. The rest of the members will be panel members, experts in linguistic landscapes. And you should briefly plan the content of what you'd like to talk about. Don't spend too much time, but just what are some points that we could, maybe some questions, think about the questions that you want to answer, but make it spontaneous. You do not have to write out an entire dialogue, but at least have some idea in your groups where you're going so that you're not catching anybody off guard as to what the topic is going to be, et cetera, et cetera. Now, once you have a leader, I will give the leader the right to record, because this is one of the things about Zoom is that if you're in breakout rooms, I can't record all of the breakout rooms at the same time. What I can do is give one person in the breakout room the ability to record so that they'll have the function, the button available for them to press record, but it will record to your own computer. Sorry about that. It's just the way it is. But what I would ask you to do is I'm going to make a folder available in the classroom. It's not there yet, but once you've recorded it, download it from it's in your computer, upload it into the folder. If you have any problems whatsoever, I'll help you. But again, this is the best way we can do it because we don't have, there's no way to record the breakout rooms otherwise. Okay, so we will provide you with cues to help you, but this is not saying to follow it. It's just ideas that we have, but you decide. Okay, so I want to make that very clear. You are the ones who decide what's going to go in there. We're not telling you what to say. Okay, so another points. We will provide the opening music and the credits. You don't need to worry about that. You heard that little and the other one, we already have one. We have a local already has its own sort of ditty music and the visuals to accompany each of our podcasts. And we will then combine your recording with this, so you do not have to worry about that either. All we need is the recording. We do not need you to be worrying about the rest of the post-production, what we could call the post-production. We take that. If you do not want to be recorded in audio, because this is an audio podcast, we're not asking you to do the video will come out, just so you understand. The recording records video, but then we extract the audio from that. So there's not going to be, your images will not be there. It will just be your voice. But if you're uncomfortable with even your voice being recorded, then please express that to your group and help them to create it. Maybe you want to just be the one responsible for doing the recording and stay quiet. Okay, so again, we're not going to force anyone to do something they don't want to do. So just so that that's clear. And I'm going to put in the chat before we leave, I'll put in the chat a link which is going to open up a PowerPoint, Google PowerPoint with some cues, just ideas. Okay, I'll show it to you before we go, then I'll put it in the chat. But it's important that you open up that link before you leave the main room, because once you're in the breakout room, you don't have access to the chat anymore. That's the only reason. There's no secret about why we have to do that, but I just want to tell you that once we put it into the chat, then this is the link that you're going to be using. So before we go, is it clear? Are there any questions? I know I'm just throwing out a lot of information here. So does anyone have any questions or anything that's not clear to you? Yes, Carolyn.
One person will be just recording these voices, I suppose, and the video, of course, and you will just extract the audio. So the one recording one, I suppose that we will also just ask some questions and we will just moderate the break room if we are the leader.
You can do it as you wish. As you heard the other podcast, there was one person who was kind of leading and saying, okay, so John, what do you think about, or okay. If you want one person, or if you all want to say, no, let's just do it together, that's fine as well. Okay, there's podcasts where everyone is just talking and giving opinions as they go, and there's not one particular person leading it. Usually it's easier if you have a leader. Usually, just to keep the rhythm going, but not absolutely necessary. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to put into the chat. Let me pull that up. Okay, get this link, and I will also show it to you. Okay, there's the link. You'll need to open it as well. Okay. So. And what I will do is share it really quickly so we can go over it together. So many things open right now. I'm assuming all of you can see that. Okay. When you open up the link I gave you, it will open this up for you, and you should leave it open so that once you're in your break rooms, you have it in your browser. I can also put it in the chats in the browsers. I mean, in the breakout room, but the point is that you will not be able to see the chat in the main room anymore. That's why I'm saying, please open up the link. So I just say today we're going to talk about, that would be the leader. You could talk about what are your key takeaways from this week's session. What concepts will you apply to your own teaching? You do not have to talk about all of these. These are just some ideas. How can you bring in other disciplines? There are 2 comments in the Padlet that yesterday we asked you to think about ideas for other interdisciplinary projects. There's not a whole lot of ideas, but there are a couple of ideas you can go in there, maybe add something while you're there. What concepts or content can students learn from doing LL? I think some new ideas just came out in the discussion based on the development of these apps that we're doing. Another one would be, how would you sell this idea to other teachers? Or what's the best thing, in your opinion, about linguistic landscapes? How is it different from other types of approaches to teaching languages or language awareness, et cetera, and what are some possible challenges? And this is always the thing that teachers have, yes, but. So we can come up with the yes, but maybe also come up with, okay, so here's how we deal with it. If you can think of how you might deal with it, that would be good as well. And we want to try to keep the recordings to 10 to 15 minutes, and it can no more than 15 minutes. We could say 8 minutes. Anything shorter is not really a podcast. Anything shorter, I think, than 7 or 8 minutes. What do you think, Sylvia? What would you say about that?
I would say that something around 7 as a minimum, and then 15 minutes, just as you were saying, Melinda.
Okay. So yes, I see there's a hand raised. Angela?
I have a question, and probably I missed during your explanation, Melinda. I'm sorry for that.
No problem.
I had I don't know, I didn't understand everything. It was a lot of information for me. Is going to be in English, the podcast? I mean,
we had not really discussed that. If you have a lot of different languages in the podcast, I don't know, Sylvia, what do you think? What would you say?
Because I know Angela and Andres, and we already exchanged a little bit about this. We could probably be in the same group and discuss it in connection to intercomprehension across Romance languages with Portuguese and Spanish, and we would give it a try.
Okay, so let me see how many, when we were planning this, how many people we have. Right now we've got 10 people with myself and Sylvia. That would be 4 people, Sylvia, in the podcast. I'm going to suggest, different from what we had originally planned, because we had expected more participants, that you and I we both take a breakout room.
Okay, good.
And we do the recording, but we kind of, we don't intervene in the actual podcast. Does that sound? And so if you want to, let's see, if you want to do intercomprehension, who could we put in there?
I see Hugo. Hugo, are you there? We were
yes,
group.
I'm here. I can only stay for 15 minutes because I'm going to teach in a few seconds. So I don't know if that will be valid.
Okay, so it's probably too short, but
yeah.
I could have Angela and Andres, as I told you, and if someone wants to participate in Portuguese, Spanish, or Italian, I don't know, it would be interesting to.
Do we have one more volunteer for that group?
I speak French.
Okay,
I don't
so
know
we
if
could,
it's all right.
we could put Sarah in that group. Okay, so those, sorry, Hugo, that you can't stick around and take part in this. Let's see, I've got one new message here. We can have French or Catalan too. Yeah, as well. What about the other group? Do you want to do it in English, or do you want to do something similar? So that would be, for that group, that would be Cardalin, Rogelio, or is it Rogelio? I'm assuming it's Rogelio. And Gab. Am I leaving something out, somebody out? Let's see, and Chejing.
And Wilfried.
Wilfred, I said Gab. He goes by Gabriel, I think, right? Gab?
Gabriel, Rogelio, Che, and Cartelen.
Uh-huh. Is that okay with the other 4? Are you good with that? Another possibility is that we just do it all as one group, but I think that's too big.
Mm. You're right, Melinda.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so what I will do, those of you, thank you, Hugo, for joining with us. Okay, so appreciate that. Appreciate you being here. Is everyone here familiar with, okay, so we have Gab saying maybe stick to English. Okay, we'll go into our groups and decide that. So here's the thing. We need to do this in about 25 minutes. Yes?
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough time? Yes?
Sim.
Good.
Sim, muito bem.
Okay, so for those of you, if you're not familiar, I'm creating now 2 breakout rooms, okay? I'm going to allow you to choose your room. So if you're going with Sylvia, I'm going to put this in the chat just so you know. Sylvia will go to breakout room 1. And that would be Andres, Angela,
and Sarah.
Angela and Sarah. Okay, and then the rest are with Melinda in breakout room 2. That's the rest of you. Okay, so I'm going to open up these breakout rooms, and you just need to go to whichever room you're assigned to. Okay, I will be the last one to go in because I'll stay here in the main room in case someone has difficulties joining the room. I can bump you into that room. Okay, you can also ask for help. If you're having any problems, you can send out a message to me as the moderator. Sylvia, I'm going to put you in as co-host as well.
Okay, no problem.
And as co-host, you should not have any problem in recording. I'm going to stop recording this room right now, and